The fact that, people, we have a morning. 12 miles to the island. It was such a hard night, to be honest, because, well, it seems like the conditions are as follows. Well, red of course, but not directly fatally red. It would be possible, of course, to wait for the yellow one somewhere and go, but it's too long, too difficult. We decided to go out like this. The problem is in this weather, that a little bit of the waves are coming from the side. At the same time, there is such an unpleasant side pitching, especially at night, when you seem to want to rest. And this is what makes you chatter sharply, and the waves are very sharp. Well, in short, that's how we got there. I'll have to come. Yes, I hope it will be possible to relax there for a couple of hours. Makatea is the farthest island of the Tuamotu Archipelago. Belongs to the Tetiaroa community. In order to get to Makatea, it is necessary to first stand and fly to Rangero, and then hire some kind of ferry boat or power boat in order to get here to Makatea. Because there are no other possibilities, such as an airplane here. And there is no way to get there in any other way than to hire a boat here. Makatea is upbeat about what it is, we will tell you today in our video. And here, from the beginning of the last century to the mid-60s of the last century, a huge amount of technical work was carried out on the extraction of phosphates. This chemical element has been mined for half a century, and we will also tell you about it in our issue today. Well, that's it, we have become. In short, this is how it all looks here. Buoy. Mooring. There are 3 buoys here. Look how close we are to the shore. Here the depth below us is about 70 meters, so, well, that's the story. Terrible, really. And I'll say more that we drove right in front of these guys with a red awning. Now they will think about how to get up further.
Because there are only 3 fights.
There are only 3 fights.
And this one is the most impetuous, which we have become. Because it is very close to the shore, but we'll wait and see.
Yes, everything is fine.
But I'm scared, because look how close we are.
We're close, but not very close. Before the start of the COVID pandemic, work began on improving the port's infrastructure. Several piers were made and several buoys were installed. But since the pandemic began, all work has been stopped. But there are plans to increase the depth of the entrance to this small cove and install 10 guest buoys, so that people on boats can come to visit and travel around the island. Negotiations on the resumption of work on this small port are underway at the moment, leading to the fact that the infrastructure of this island will be improved.
Where are you taking us?
We're going ashore.
Only a catamaran can do this. You can stop. What kind of infrastructure is there from the old port?
In the 60s.
All of what?
This is probably a new one. And this is a slip, I see. I don't think we need to go there. Here you can see what has been improved on the shore. In other words, some work was done on the renovation of the port infrastructure. A slipway was made for several berths to launch boats from trailers in good weather. A small decoration was made for people who come here to Makatea. The port building was made. They also left remnants of heavy machinery, that is, from the mechanisms that worked here earlier. They made such an impromptu exhibition of some old screws, guns found at the bottom, and so on. There is also a slightly improved infrastructure. We made tables and seats so that people could sit, wait, let's say, for some kind of boat in the future. Or just go out as if on a picnic, and look at what is happening in the port. If you step aside a little, it was previously also part of the port. but at the moment it's just nature already. Because everything was abandoned. Magnificent rocks and trees around these rocks. And not only tropical trees, which are inherent in this region, but also coniferous, which gives this small coniferous smell, and is, in principle, beautiful. And of course, these magnificent mountains that surround and protect this small, relatively speaking, port, which is located quite far from the village itself, which is located on top of the plateau. For me, it's very beautiful here, of course, these rocks, and this incredible island. Just gorgeous. We are going to the city to look for people. While we were climbing up, the remains of some large commercial structures were visible along the road. The remains of some machines, rails, electric former poles, some buildings. It is immediately obvious that there was some big active commercial activity here. When we had already passed almost to the top of the plateau, we met the guys in a pickup truck, who said that they would give us a ride to the village. The distance there is several kilometers. In principle, we could walk there, but it's quite a long way. It immediately catches the eye that this is still French tremor, because even on such a small forgotten island, there are speed limit signs. And the road is right on one car, on one track, lined with concrete, but nevertheless, it is a road on which you can drive. Well, everywhere everything connected with the municipality is signed and people live, develop, build some houses. At the moment, 114 people live in the village. That is, they are all descendants of those who lived here. And a very small number of people who came here from other islands. Naturally, everyone on the island knows each other. This structure is probably similar to a commune when everyone helps each other. If someone catches fish, then he catches fish for those who need it. If someone knows how to do something else, he does it for those who also need this service. Well, are you happy? Look, we found the hacks. We found everything we need, a full bag. Tomorrow there will be a pro-training of rattlesnakes, and tomorrow. Bonjour. And tomorrow we will go on a tour of the island. We'll all be watching. We'll watch everything. Look what a magnificent trolley. And there are also very nice signs that point to local attractions. Probably children drew. And very strange signs with cats and dogs. Oh my God. The viewer.
Only one who has a special geology. He's raised, coral island. Why? Because 60 million years ago, the volcano Tetiaroa was, on operation, and he come and he fresh on the earth. That's how Makatea came out from the water. That That thing happened 7 times in 60 million years. The years of Makatea, the oldest Makatea, that's on the cliff on the east coast. You have all the different straits, like we said, telling the age of the island. 60 million years. That didn't come out from the deep ocean like that on one time. That was on 7 times in 60 million years. And on the same line of that earthquake, of the 7th, you have Tetiaroa, the island of Brando. That one, of course, went down because he was on the negative side of the ladder, you know. And that's how now Makatea. So maybe you can say, if Makatea will stop to grow up, yes, I think so, because the volcano Tetiaroa is over now. Yeah. So I don't think that Makatea. So right now Makatea has the highest mountain on raised island, 113 meters on the top of the level of the ocean. For the scientific, all the atoll like Makatea is between 30 and 60 meters. So Makatea is the highest one. So that's a geology specificity. Makatea was a school because the first union, the first law for workers, they've been setting up here in Makatea.
Bien. Ici, en place, j'ai 5 niveaux et c'est très difficile à enseigner. Les 5 niveaux, c'est très difficile.
That's the way they used to work. No shoes before, no helmet, nothing. They didn't know that. And all those people are Indochinois, means Indochine. Yeah, Vietnamian and stuff like that. It was at the beginning, no local people inside.
Et le riz japonais dépendent des 160 pelles de l'équipe de pointe des puisatiers qui peinent comme des forcenés dans le gruyère acariâtre du travail en équipe avec le pousseur de brouette. Ils sont payés à la brouette. Chacun d'eux remue en moyenne chaque jour 10 000 kilos de guano, gagne en moyenne 12 000 francs par
So this is the generator. There was 4 like that you saw, the generator.
Production de 1000 kW dans courant alternatif avec le complexe industriel, atelier de fonderie, charpente, mécanique, la gare de triage, puis le centre administratif.
And they have 118, how you say it, telephone, automatic telephone. That's something that whole French Polynesia doesn't have that time. Makatea was really, should be the capital, you know, because of the development, and especially because of the electricity. And this starts from here, and you have also all the generators inside for the electricity. Makatea was the only island that time who has electricity, 110 to 120. So this is the supply, you know, for everything, for the train, everything they have to build, you know, this is here. This is all the machinery. The phosphate is a natural fertilizer, you know, for agriculture, using also into the pharmacy, chemist, and into the nuclear.
And also in washing industry, like washing powders.
Yes, washing powders. And the operation of mining started in 1906 and over in 1966. So 60 years of mining operation. There were, at the beginning, only people from Europe, at the beginning. So they worked up to the Second World War. And because all the country want their people to go back to their country, that's how Polynesian people came and work on this island. There were 3,600 people working in the mining, on the mining field. Most of them are from Austral, Rurutu, the island of Rurutu, from Bora Bora, from Tahiti. Funny things, there was no people from the Tuamotu working in the mining operation at the beginning. And that's why the story said the Tuamotu people are lazy. And the answer, no, because they found out that the job is so beautiful. So he want to be like in solidarity. So he like better that his cousin will do the work for them. But they're not lazy at all. Yeah. And they start bringing the phosphate. The wharf was there, go straight into the barge, and the barge going to the mineral ship. The smallest one was 35,000 tons, and the biggest one was 115 tons from Japan, Mitsu Company. And to fill up the smallest mineral ship there at that time, it took at least 2 weeks. 2 weeks, because it's like that. If the soil is okay, otherwise it can 3 weeks to fill up. And one day in 51, the General de Gaulle, which was the President of the Republic of French, came to Tahiti and told us, I have a good news for you. Your future is the nuclear. That's how the phosphate stopped in Makatea in 66, September 6, 1966. Because they had to set up that thing in Moruru and Pangataufa, the bomb, and that's how they need the labor, the local labor workers that were on this island. That was the main reason. And over there, the house of the captain. They had a commandant and a captain for the port, and everything happened there. So we were at the machine here, and the funicular comes straight down and bring all the phosphate here on barge, going straight to the, to the mineral ocean. Okay? And when they start to build, from the information that the General de Gaulle said, they've been working first on the cliff of there. Usually when they've been starting to use the loading arm, it's about 100 meters from the reef. They had a special date, which is September 6th. Everything has to be closed. So Temao was working day and night, because the project has to, they have to reach a certain point, So when this swell here, big swell here, it's very difficult for them to try to get to the point that they want. So they build what we call here the sauterelle. The sauterelle comes here, get the phosphate, and go to the straight, like an arm, and then you have a telescopic arm coming out. So, of course, they load the mineral by 300 meters from the cliff. The regular one is 100 meters, but with that one, they can load 300 meters. So that means how important is that special date that the Ministry of Defense, we call, France, and the company, they've been setting up a special date. They didn't let the people know until 2 weeks before. 3 weeks. That's how only they said to the people, okay, next Monday, we're going to stop the mining. Those people is like, how you said, that is a name in French, zombie. Yeah. Then follow the company, because the company sent another study in Nouvelle-Zébride, which is Vanuatu now. They've been trying to find for another mine, which was the manganese. But over there they found out that the study is not that good, so they just stopped the company. They just stopped the company. So all those Polynesian people who went there keep on going all the way to New Caledonia into the nickel. That's another mineral. Some of the population went back to Tahiti. There was 3 or 4 big companies in Tahiti. Only 28 people didn't want to leave the islands. They were all landowners. They said, no, we stay on our island. And all those people, this is the family that you have now. Before there was the grandparents, you know. The grandparents didn't want to leave the islands. And from a day to another day, Makatea, who was the top for everything, for technology, for everything, was Makatea. The result, Makatea has a supply ship coming on the island from Tahiti once every 6 months.
And in modern times, everything happens a little differently. The ship of the Providence comes once a week. With it you can buy something extra for yourself and transfer it. If something happens to someone's health, then there is a free service with a helicopter that arrives for this person and is taken to Tahiti by agreement on the recommendation of a local doctor. The only thing that has remained unchanged is that copra is still the main source of income for copra production. Otherwise, if you have a great desire, you can always get to the island from Tetiaroa Island. Very often fishermen and just owners of boats take people's side to the route.
The island was a really beautiful haven for people who decide to stay. The Makatea has so many things to give them: breadfruits, coconut, fish, coconut crab, all those stuff, you know. They can live by themselves. But they were really, you know, that just cut the rope with the, you know, the open life of Tahiti. One supply ship every 6 months. It's incredible, incredible. Like they said in Tuamotu, amazing. Amazing. That the order in New Zealand, it comes straight over here. Okay. And then they bring the cow here, kill it, and you know, we call it in French abattoir, to kill the cow. And over there, this is the butcher. The company set up a big store here. That's not Amazon, but practically like Amazon. Yeah. So this is the, how you say, the butcher, where they sell all the meats. Over there, this is they do the ice, you know, the ice for a cook. On the back, you have like a regular oven for bread, bakery.
Oh, bakery,
yeah.
bakery.
It's nice to make one picture of that.
And, interestingly, if you look at it up close, then each granule is a small ball. It was these little balls that were mined in an absolutely brutal way, just dug out with a shovel in the middle of the stones. That is, since these phosphates, this sand is located between the corals, between the stones, they were simply dug out by workers, filled with buckets, carts. It's unclear. And they were taken through elevators, in fact, and loaded directly into the ships. And then they were already transported to New Zealand, to Australia, to Japan, where everyone was used for their intended purpose. Who extracted chemical elements, who simply used them as soil. As a result of these actions, as a result of 60 years of phosphate mining, almost a huge part of the island is dotted with pits like these, which are, well, really very large in depth, up to 30 meters there. And if you look at the entire geography of the island like this, then 1,200 hectares were used for the extraction of phosphates. That is, the whole island is covered with such large potholes, and most likely nothing will grow on this territory. Except for some small vegetation, shrubs, maybe even small trees.
Na uera veia oe Te toro nei to urima no te tauhani a oe Whariuma o ti ine Manuia, manuia here Te mihinea I tororu o mi imi E to mata
Said we are for the time being of the east coast, which called Momo. This is where our ancestors set up the first village of the story of this island. When the mining operation started, there were approximately 300 people living on the island. When you see people live here, they have everything: sports field, stores, shops, living out, everything were on this coast. Why? Because there is water here. When you see at the base of or the cliff, there is some holes, some caves where you can get to the phreatic water. That's why people used to live here. But the second thing, everything that you have up there, you have here too. The coconut crab, you can chase it here. The coconut for the copra, you can have it here. The reef for the fish, you can have it here. That's why people live on this area, because it's more profitable for the people. I mean, when the waves come, there is 30 meters, and after you have the big blue ocean. So when there is swell, the waves doesn't have really time, to become big. Mm-hmm. So that already break, because it's like this. In the other side, no. That's why people live on this side. And this place is called Momo. On the other side, where we have the port, Rakna, it's Temao. Temao means the shark. The problem over there, because the area between the reef and the cliff is very narrow. So when big storms, very easy for the ocean, for the water to come and reach the cliff. So it's very dangerous. Why? Because 100 meters from the cliff, it's 100 meters deep, and of course it's a tough, bottom.
Papo mai tai te ua ari o momo o eni ai to pai raro pe ue ya no mama aure pe ue aure turu aure aura akita otoe o vau no ai ai te rauni ai puta puta te aria iaku e tere nei narungai te pahi no te hoki ai atumue. I am sailing on the boat Marivanui to go back to my island Makatea. Pariuriuta kuaro, oh, marungai te moa na pakite hokia, toko he mua Makatea. Pakite hokia, toko he mua Makatea. Wakane huia koe, e taku tapairue, manuia, marania viru viru. E roto i takune, piko hanae. Wakite hokia, toko e, uihere. Mata ita ia tua, toko ai au monue. Papati maira, e mau are mitie. E te ava, tahuna te pairue. Ahirera a, no te mawarua.
Udini here bag Aurora Borealis, so gorgeous. Tell me please, why do you need this magnificent bag?
So that we can swim. I'm not sure, by the way.
Is it cold?
Well, it's so cool here. Like, I don't know. Let's see.
Anyway, we're going to the caves. It will be interesting. There are a large number of caves all over the island, which have fresh water. This is the only raised atoll, and in general, in principle, an atoll on all that Tuamotu, where there is fresh water. And it is located in rocks, in such deep caves. In these caves, of course, you can climb to see and, in our case, even have a wonderful swim. In order to go down there, you need to have some kind of light, a flashlight and bathing accessories, because there will be a small pond inside. To be honest, it was scary enough to climb into such water, because, first of all, it's dark, and secondly, it's a cave. And all the time it seems that something terrible can live underwater here, but in fact the water is so calm, so transparent, that you don't even realize that you are in the water. You see, my feet are wet, but everything happened very simply. Here, the water is so smooth that I didn't notice it, and you just walk on the pebbles, then you just step on it. And there's knee-deep water. Well, I'm going for a swim. It's very cool here. Shine a light.
It doesn't give anything.
Aren't you going swimming?
No,
Why?
I don't want to. I've wet my legs. That's enough for me.
Only the temperature, which is cold, is the water cool enough. It tells you that you are in some kind of reservoir. Because even if you open your eyes underwater, you see everything quite calmly, as if you are in the air. Here is such a unique feature here in these caves, with fresh water, but it's scary enough, I'll say so. After I bathed in this pond, it's time to climb out into the white light. And we had about 10 minutes until Julian would come and pick us up from here. while we had free time, we found a coconut crab. It's not for nothing that we show it to you, because we have plans for dinner today, for just such guys. But this one is small. They usually grow big, and these are the biggest crabs on this planet. They can be up to 80 centimeters in size, and when such a huge thing sits somewhere on a tree, it's really impressive. But in this case, we met a small one who borrowed some kind of shell, and actually walks around here. Here is such a beautiful crab, sitting next to us and waiting for us to be picked up. Do you like it here?
Not bad. I liked it better on the beach, as you know. Beautiful beach with them. So that's how it is from the movie, and the white sand, and the bay of the floor.
And this is the production of copra. Copra is the inside of a coconut. This white chip, which you can buy in the supermarket, is the cobra. It comes in different varieties. The best quality is when old coconuts are chopped and dried in the shade.
Makatea is not a Polynesian name. That's a scientific name, means white coral. Makatea, tea means white, maka means coral. When you talk about Makatea today, you're talking about souvenir. That's how I feel it. When I tell you we had a cinema before, but seems like I'm just bullshit. There is no cinema. There is an old wall with bushes on it, you know. There was no cinema. The cinema is over. So Makatea for me, it's just a souvenir. 3,000 people, 11 million tons of phosphate, 60 years of mining industry, electricity for everybody. But now all those things does nothing now. It's just a souvenir. But in the mythology, in the culture, Makatea has two names also before. There was the Makatea, means lights from the top of the horizon, like sunset, or, you know, sunset cruise. That was the time that Makatea was an atoll. It's why it's called Makatea, lights on the top of the horizon. And the second name after, years after, was Papatea, the white rock. That's one we are using right now. We are living on the white rock. When the geological story happened that Makatea was pushed outside the water, it became Papatea, the white rock. Red into the culture is the color of the king. Now, all people who are around the king, we call it the security of the king. Like, you know, all those barriers, they were what we call the red maro. The red maro is the red dress. You know. The red is the color of the reality. It's why Makatea is like a little princess, but she's a fighter. You plan to take 7 hours to come from Tetiaroa, you took 10 hours instead of 7. That's always, how you say, a challenge. Makatea is always a challenge. Up to now, it's the same thing. Yeah. So, we are on the island of the Tsunami. Makatea. Session climbing, climbing learners, you know, for beginners. And the Via Ferrara also.
Yeah, somewhere here.
Yeah. This is the smallest cliff that they use for, you know, for people just start to climb.
After being for 60 years, Makatea was, one might say, practically the capital of French Polynesia. And after the entire industry on this island was destroyed, the people of Makatea began to think about how to develop their island, and it was decided that the best way would be ecotourism. And one of the areas that is currently developing most actively is rock climbing, and at various levels. A huge number of professional climbers come here who make their own trails, popularize this type of recreation and this sport. And Red Bull came here and made some of his climbing trails. Therefore, those who want some kind of entertainment in such remote places, which on the map, in principle, are hard to find and hard to get to. But when you get here, you find yourself in a completely different world, which can give you a huge number of different emotions that you can't just get in tourist places where you come to relax in the usual way. The rocks on Makatea are not sharp, so people who are engaged in rock climbing do not tear their hands and feet, because the stone is quite soft. Plus a huge number of caves and a magnificent view of the ocean. This is what you will be greeted on the island of Makatea.
Central hybrid solar geysel. This is the first one in French Polynesia. The investment was an investment from the Fed. Fed is a Fonds Européen of Development, FED, you know. Before I had two big how you said, generator here. And I use, you know, those drums that 200 liters of gasoil per month, working 24 hours. I use the I think that's 4,000 liters per month.
Okay.
Yeah, at least 10 drums.
For the whole village?
Yeah, for the whole village. Since we set up the hybrid solar geysel, you know, I just now use 2 drums. I mean 3 drums. One into the tank of the engine, of the generator, and 2 on the side.
But do you have big batteries there to store?
Yeah, lithium, big one. This project is 300 solar panel, but we only use the half part of the project because it's quite enough. Makatea don't use the third of his central. Unless everybody, you know, work every day on electric machine, But it's why we use only 50% of the project. But the other 50% is still our project. If tomorrow people comes and start to build and things like that, we can use the backfield to set up the second part. And for the time being, this one, from next month, I will set up 2 racks here, and we're gonna turn at 100% ecological transition. 100%. For the time being, we are at 85% with that. But he's bringing some beer, a friend. He's bringing the beer.
Okay.
The village of Maumu is located a few kilometers from the port. That is, you need to drive to the center of the island on the way. Let me show you what yummy food we will be fed today. Hey Oda. Sashimi. This is coconut bread. This is coconut crab, coconut crab. Here and here. Taro. And here's the taro. And okay. Cassava. Me. Yeah. And here it is.
Fish.
Fish. Yeah, rice and sauces. Well then.
Very tasty. There's a sauce for everything. Here I have the most beautiful one. Look at the claw, as it is from a crab.
Is that the one you were playing with?
Well, this is his little brother. Let's try it now. Very tasty, by the way.
By the way, this is not a ceviche. It's some kind of white milk sauce and tomatoes and cucumbers. It tastes very strange. It's just a fish salad with fresh fish. Therefore, this is what I said with hive. It's wrong. It's just some kind of fresh salad, but it's very tasty. Well, people, here you are acquainted with this magnificent island, an island that is almost impossible to get to, if you did not come here as we are by boat. And now, as you can see, it's morning, and it's time to dump Murin and go further on the Tate. Therefore, we subscribe to the channel, put a like, a bell, write a comment. Well, we're off. See you in the next issue. Bye.
I am sailing on the boat Marivanue to go back to my island Makatea. Pariuriuta kuaro, oh, marungai te moa na patite hokia, toko he noa e Makatea.